Good morning, and welcome to your AIDailyPress morning podcast for June 21st, 2025. First, the conflict between Israel and Iran has escalated, with airstrikes and significant casualties reported on both sides. The situation remains perilous, and the international community is urging restraint and a return to diplomatic efforts. Second, the NATO summit is underway, with tensions running high between member states and Russia. Disagreements over defense spending threaten to undermine the alliance's unity, while discussions about Ukraine's security are being noticeably muted. Experts warn that the lack of a unified front on Ukraine's security could have far-reaching consequences for the alliance. Third, the diplomatic endeavors of a high-ranking U.S. envoy have come under fire, sparking intense debate and concern among international leaders and experts. The envoy's unconventional approach to diplomacy has raised eyebrows due to its perceived alignment with Russian interests, particularly in regards to the Ukraine conflict. As we navigate these complex issues, one thing is clear: effective diplomacy requires a nuanced and informed approach, rather than relying on untested methods or personal relationships. We'll continue to provide updates and analysis on these stories as they unfold. That's all for now. Thank you for joining us on the AIDailyPress Morning Podcast. I'm Walter, and we'll be back with more news after this break. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Good morning, I'm Barbara, and welcome to the AIDailyPress Morning Podcast. Here's a brief summary of our top now for the latest in business and finance. Here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, we're following the developments in the conflict between Israel and Iran, which has reached a boiling point with Israeli strikes targeting Iranian nuclear facilities. Experts warn of potential disruptions to oil supplies and shockwaves through the market, but so far, the initial reaction has been muted. In other news, Canada is poised to pass a landmark infrastructure bill aimed at kickstarting nation-building projects, despite fierce opposition from Indigenous communities. The bill has sparked widespread controversy, with Indigenous leaders concerned that it could trample on their constitutional rights and ignore their concerns about environmental and social impacts. And finally, we're keeping an eye on the markets as they react to news of U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict. Insiders are attributing a 2-3 probability to outcomes that would stabilize the situation, but there's still a quarter chance of U.S. intervention, which could have far-reaching consequences. We'll be diving deeper into these stories throughout the day, with expert analysis and updates from around the world. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and always keep your wits about you in these uncertain times. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me on this morning's edition of the AIDailyPress. Until next time, now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has captured stunning images of the impact site of the iSpace Hakuto-R mission's moon lander, Resilience. The privately funded spacecraft experienced a hard landing on June 14, 2023, and the LRO's narrow-angle camera has provided us with a unique perspective on this event. The images reveal a dark smudge surrounded by a subtle bright halo, showcasing the dynamic nature of the moon's surface. In other news, SpaceX's Starship program has suffered a significant setback after an explosion occurred during testing. The incident is likely to add to the challenges already faced by the program, including engine failures and heat shield problems. NASA, which has partnered with SpaceX on several high-profile projects, has expressed concern about the incident and will work closely with the company to ensure that all necessary safety protocols are in place. Lastly, we'll be talking about NASA's Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the moon by 2024. The agency has contracted SpaceX to develop a lunar lander as part of the program, but delays in the Starship program could impact the overall timeline. These stories highlight the complexities and challenges involved in space exploration, but also demonstrate the power of international cooperation and collaboration in advancing our understanding of the universe. Join us today as we delve deeper into these fascinating topics and explore the latest developments in space research. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. We'll be back with more exciting stories after this break. Stay curious and keep looking up at those stars. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, the Los Angeles Dodgers have found themselves at the center of a contentious debate surrounding federal immigration policy after asking federal immigration agents to leave their stadium grounds. This incident has sparked a heated discussion about the role of sports teams in addressing social and political issues. We'll provide you with in-depth analysis and expert insights on this developing story. In other news, Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh has made history by setting a new MLB single-season mark for most home runs by a catcher before the All-Star break, surpassing Hall of Famer Johnny Bench's 1970 record. This remarkable achievement is a testament to Raleigh's exceptional talent and work ethic. Lastly, we're following the story of Rafael Devers and the Boston Red Sox, who are looking to bounce back from a tough series against the New York Yankees. We'll have updates on their upcoming games and analysis of their performance so far this season. These stories and more will be covered in detail on today's AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Now, for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curel.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we took a look at the intriguing phenomenon of a rockfall in Banff National Park, which tragically resulted in the loss of 2 lives and injured several others. This event serves as a poignant reminder of the power and majesty of nature, as well as the importance of respecting and preserving our natural environments. In another story, we delved into the emotionally charged issue of immigration and the deployment of troops in Los Angeles. We sought to provide balanced coverage, recognizing the divisions within our society and emphasizing the need for respectful dialogue and empathy. Lastly, we explored a more light-hearted topic, examining the fascinating world of human curiosity and exploration through the lens of a unique story about a rockfall on a popular hiking trail. Throughout these stories, we've aimed to maintain our signature elements, focusing on ordinary people doing extraordinary things, using descriptive language, and emphasizing the dignity of ordinary work. We believe in the power of storytelling to connect us, educate us, and inspire us. That's all for today's morning podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we'll continue to bring you thought-provoking stories and analysis throughout the day. Now, for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. Firstly, we're remembering the life and legacy of Gaillard Sartain, a talented actor and comedian who passed away at the age of 81. Sartain was best known for his appearances on the classic variety show Hee Haw, where he entertained audiences with his unique blend of humor and charm. We take a moment to appreciate his incredible career spanning over 4 decades, including his roles in films like Nashville and Fried Green Tomatoes. In other news, we're following the highly publicized trial of Sean Diddy Combs, who faces charges of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transporting individuals for prostitution. As the trial unfolds, it's essential to distinguish between credible journalism and sensationalized reporting. Established news organizations like the New York Times and CNN are providing balanced and fact-based coverage, while some social media influencers have been criticized for spreading unverified information. Lastly, we're highlighting the importance of press credentials and ethical reporting in maintaining the integrity of journalism as a profession. Respected journalists from the New York Times are providing in-depth coverage of the trial, underscoring the need for accurate, balanced, and unbiased reporting. That's all for today's podcast. We'll continue to bring you updates on these stories, and more, prioritizing fact-based journalism over speculation or rumor. Thank you for tuning into the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Atinacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we reported on the successful reintroduction of an endangered species in its natural habitat after conservation efforts led to the rescue of a group of animals from a devastating wildfire. Unfortunately, this story is not available today. However, we do have updates on two other critical issues. Our second story highlights the impact of plastic waste on our oceans and beaches. A recent study found that regulatory measures such as bans and fees can be effective in reducing plastic bag litter, but more needs to be done to address the broader issue of plastic pollution. Lastly, we marked World Rainforest Day by examining the state of the world's most vital rainforests. Unfortunately, 2024 has been a devastating year for these ecosystems, with millions of hectares of primary forest lost to fires and deforestation. However, there is still hope if immediate action is taken to protect these regions. These stories remind us of the urgent need for collective action to address environmental challenges. We'll continue to provide in-depth coverage of these issues and explore innovative solutions to promote sustainability and protect our planet. Tune in for more updates and analysis throughout the day. Thank you for listening to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Etenecher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.